Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising lineage. This is your brother Chief Kalanaga. Wagwan. Let me make sure we got some audio on Facebook. Give me a second. Let me make sure we got some yeah, we do. We do. We good. We good. Man, listen, hope everybody's doing good. I hope you had an amazing sunrise, and I'm wishing you a grand sunrise. All right. Now check this out. I'm gonna get into this video here. And I know it's a bit early and some of y'all are still in bed because you went to bed late last night, right? And that's okay. I was out late last night as well, but I wasn't out partying. I was up, just building, with a couple of friends because I've always been about building, but lately I'm kind of like linking with, what I call the right minds or the like minds rather, and building together, what I mean, or at least coming around the wrong table, to start building. With that being said, I want to acknowledge the great spirit, universal intelligence, the universal all. Want to acknowledge all the beings that manifested through the universal all, which are actually my ancestors. I acknowledge each and every one of them. However, I give my energy, my honor, my glory to the righteous ones because I came from the righteous seed. So therefore, that's what I manifest. You feel me? So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to share a bit of information with you. It may or may not help you or assist you in becoming your better self, but that's my goal. I'm a builder, okay? And therefore, I always like to assist people in becoming, a better version of themselves. All right. I was sent here to build. I was sent here to help people ascend. Now I saw a video that kind of gave these 15 points that I'm about to go through, and share here with you. But I just wanted to expand on or expound on these 15 points. All right. Someone had sent a video to me on, and like I said, I just felt the need, to kind of share that information because I've been using, just not those 15 points, but many other points in my life to, to be where I'm at today. So I'm going to share that with you and break it down in my own words. And I hope it will help you. Some of you may actually be ready for this message. You've been looking for that or waiting for somebody to break it down to you. And here we go. So I would say between the age of 14 or 15 and 50, I think those 15 points, you should really focus on those points and, just master them. All right. And I think that the next half of your life, all right, you'll definitely be living in bliss. You feel me? Enjoying life. And that's what life is supposed to be, right? So the first point here is you got to take care of your mind, body. You got to take care of your mind and your body. All right. You hear the people say a lot of times, it's mind over matter. And that is actually true. Your body is actually matter, right? And anything that your body does, it's a reaction or it's a reflection of what the mind does or says, right? Sometimes the actions that the body does is literally involuntary sometimes, and sometimes it's voluntary. An involuntary action of the mind of the body is a blink. When your eye blink, that's an involuntary action, but yet still it's still blinking because the mind told it to blink. But then certain actions that we do, meaning that we premeditate certain actions and we allow the body to do the things that the mind says. So if your mind is not healthy, your body is not going to be healthy. So your mind is actually the jewel. Always think about that. Your mind is the jewel. And I've said this in videos before. The reason why they have diamonds are found in a mine, gold mine, a silver mine, a coal mine. You see, all those things are what's considered to be precious. Okay. So therefore, your mind is actually precious. But if gold is found in a gold mine and diamonds are found in a diamond mine, and coal is found in a coal mine, and silver is found in a silver mine, then If I'm asking you to protect your mind or build your mind, or your mind is the most precious thing that you have, then it begs the question, well, what's in your mind? What's the gold that's in your mind? If every mind have a precious metal or a precious jewel, so what is the jewel that's being housed in your mind? Well, my brothers and sisters, the precious jewel that's being housed in your mind are your thoughts. Okay, your mind is not your thoughts, and your thoughts is not your mind. Okay, your mind houses your thoughts, and your thoughts, just like the jewel, is a jewel, just like diamond in a mind. Your thoughts are precious, just like gold in a mind. So therefore, your thoughts is literally the jewel. And here's the beauty about this: if you're literally are on top of your game, you could use your thoughts to change your life, because whatever you think and you speak it, it becomes. You feel me? Now, the thought that you have is the seed. Now, that seed could be planted in what's called the universal mind, because the universal mind, it houses universal thoughts. No thought is original. Every thought that you have, why is this thing going off? Hold on for a second. I think I have Facebook open up on one of my applications. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can close that, because it might be a distraction. A lot of times, as soon as you come on Facebook, that's when people choose to send you messages. All right. For some reason, they get a notification when you're on. All right. So like I was saying before, all right, no thought is original. Every thought is actually housed in the universal mind. So when you are thinking, you are pulling thoughts from the universal thought or the universal mind. Okay. And it becomes individualized thought. And that individualized thought, if you ponder long enough on it, then what happens? You speak it and it becomes. You feel me? That's how we created in the beginning. And I said we, because we are the gods. That's how we created. The thoughts that we had, we tapped into those thoughts and we pondered on those thoughts and we spoke it. That's why the word became flesh. Now, what are words? Words are actually spoken thoughts. So thoughts are still words. They're just unspoken words. But when you speak it, it becomes your reality. So with that being said, you have to have what I call a healthy state of mind, a healthy state of being mentally. So therefore, whenever you think, your thoughts, everything starts with the mind. That's right, Mrs. Hall. You dig? It starts with the mind, but not just with the mind. It starts with your thoughts, because your thoughts are housed in your mind. So your thoughts have to be as pure as possible. If you want to live with you want to manifest righteousness. If you want to manifest love, you see all those positive things, it starts with your thoughts. Also, all the negative things, it starts with your thoughts. So once again, you see, it doesn't matter what angle I give it to you. I'm proving to you that you are God, because you could manifest those things. You feel me? You could manifest God or you could manifest the devil. So therefore, your thoughts are the most precious jewel that you have, and it's housed in your mind. That's why governments, once again, they make an attempt to control your mind. It says it right in the word, governmental agencies, because when you deal with the mental aspect of things, it deals with your mind. So that's what governments are here for. And governments created religion. You see, they're all tools of enslavement. Anytime someone control your mind, they control your jewels. What are your jewels? Your jewels are your thoughts. That's why people are walking around today as sheep. They're walking around enslaved. They have lost their spiritual sovereignty. But yet still everybody want to do paperwork. Paperwork is not going to set you free, my brothers and sisters. Paperwork will give you some type of advantage, give the body some type of advantage, but mentally you'll still be enslaved. You feel me? You have to free yourself mentally first within your thoughts. And then when you speak it, then it will happen physically. What is the point of being free on paper with the government, but you are still enslaved in the spirit? Because you're idolizing false gods. You feel me? So therefore, your mindset is important. Mindset is important. Once again, may I reiterate the word or the term governmental agencies. All right. They have replaced you as an agent for your own mind. And that's why they have government agencies, because they consider you to be incompetent, a child. That's why they call you a minority. They don't call you a minority because you are less in number. No, we are the majority in number. But yes, you are the minority when it comes to your state of being, your state of mind, because you're still considered a child. Why? Because you cannot handle your own affairs. You are not a landlord. You are a tenant. You dig? That's why when you go to court, they want you to get a lawyer or an attorney that they give you. Why? Because you are not competent enough. You need representation. That's what a lawyer does. Represent you, especially one that works for them. You feel me? Because you are a child. All right. So the first bullet point is take care of your mind first. And once you take care of your mind, the body will follow. How do you take care of your mind? Number one, always remember this. Even with thoughts, the things that you think of, the things that you take into your mindset or into your mind, right? It literally transforms you, whether it's the music that you listen to, whether it's the friends that you listen to, whether it's the news, anything. It doesn't matter what type of information that you listen to. It affects your mind. And anything that affects your mind will affect your thoughts. So you have to be very, very careful what you let into your mind, because your body will process that information, and that information will become, or will allow you to become what that information is actually giving you. Information is a form of eating. Information is a form of getting food. You may not realize it, but it will transform you over time. So that's how you protect your mind, all right, in order to protect your body and build yourself. So that's bullet point number one. Number two, most of your paths, you have to walk that path alone, because why? Your journey is personal. Well, Chief, how can you prove that? I could show you the allegorical story of Jesus. Jesus, once again, was not a real man, a real historical, physical man, but he was real in the sense that he became a personage, all right? And he became a great teacher. In literature, it was poetry. Now, in the poem, okay, he was a great teacher. You feel me? And he was basically teaching you how to become like him and not to worship him. Thou shalt not have any other God but me. Me is you. You feel me? So you should not have any other God but you. It doesn't mean that you cannot respect other gods, acknowledge other gods. That's not what it means. But thou shalt not have any other God but me. And who is me? Me is you. Well, Chief, how can you prove that? How can you say that you are the God? Well, why not? Let me give you an example. When the allegorical Jesus said, what? My Father and I are one, but yet still my Father is greater than I am. What does that mean? That may sound contradictory, but it's not. Let me explain to you what he meant. What he's saying is this: my Father and I are one, meaning that in the mental realm, in the heavenly realm, my Father and I are one. There's no separation. We are the same. I am the Father, I am the Son in that heavenly realm. But in the flesh, the Father is greater than I am. Why? Because the Spirit is greater than the flesh. The flesh is flawed. So that's what the allegorical Jesus meant. You feel me? So you are God in the spirit. You are God in that mental realm, but in the flesh, obviously you're not the flesh. So therefore, the spirit is greater than the flesh. The higher self is greater than the lower self, which is the flesh. You see, if ministers and pastors would take their time and teach people the truth, then we would not be in the situation that we're in today. But it's only because they allowed the lower God, the lower self, to master the higher self. That's why we are actually in the situation that we're in today. So a lot of your paths, you have to travel it alone, because why? Your journey is personal. That's why the allegorical Jesus, he had to be crucified. When he crucified, even when the disciples wanted to help him carry the cross, he said, nah, give that back to me, because he had to make sure that he walked that journey alone. You feel me? Walking the journey alone does not mean that you're lonely. That's not what it means, because obviously there were other people there with him, but he had to do it alone. It's the only way to ascend into the Christ. You feel me? So you have to walk that journey alone. The most of your life, you have to walk that journey alone. You see, the reason why a lot of people will not be successful, and when I speak of success, I'm not necessarily talking monetarily. Success is not always about money. The ultimate form of success is joy, not happiness, but joy. Because joy is spiritual. Joy is literally from a heavenly realm. Happiness is physical. Money can make you happy, but money is not going to bring you joy. Joy comes from within. You feel me? So with that being said, you have to walk your path alone sometimes. You have to. It's the only way you're going to grow. It's the only way you're going to become what you were meant to be. You feel me? So that's number 2. Number 3, don't waste your energy on fear, because fear is false. The acronym for fear, false energy appearing real. Okay? That's what fear is. So don't waste your energy, your energy not promoting fear or accepting fear, because fear is not real. You dig what I'm saying? So what you have to do, you have to learn, study to show yourself approved. And then when you learn, then you create, and then you grow, because we are all creators by nature. Once again, don't let anybody fool you and make you think that the God is outside of you. When we talk about creating the universe, yes, I am a co-creator, because I am actually one of the gods that created the universe. If only you knew your power, if only you knew the extent of how great you are, then our lives will not be controlled by agents of the government controlling our minds, or at least making an attempt to control our minds and having control every facet of our life. If you go back to Genesis chapter 1, what does it say? When we create ourselves in our own likeness and image, what did we do? We gave ourselves dominion over all creation. So let me ask you a question. If the government was created, why does the created or the creation have control over the creators? You feel me? Because how can you prove that, Chief? Let's go to the preamble of the Constitution. What does it say? We the people gave the governments the power so that it would be created. We created the government. So why is the government controlling the lives of the creators? It just doesn't make sense. But people don't see it that way, because they are too lazy. No one wants to think independently. They want to be controlled. Even Obama told you that when he became president. He said, listen, man, people are children. They are minors, and therefore they cannot control their own affairs. So therefore they have to vote for us every 4 years so we could control their lives. I mean, he said it in so many words, but I'm just paraphrasing. That's why you have governments. Every man or woman is their own institution. Every man or woman is their own government, meaning that you are an agent of your own mental state of being. And that's what a state is. A state is a country, and your country is your mind. And you're supposed to be the governor of your own country. But because you cannot control your country or your state of mind, therefore you need governors outside of yourself to govern your affairs. You did. Because you are incompetent. You are a minor. You are a child. You feel me? So think about what I just said. Do not subscribe to fear, because that's what they are pushing. Everything, oh, well, we are going to do this. We are going to do that. And guess what happens? People start sharing these videos. That means you're giving life to it. You see, if people don't share these things will not become your reality. That's why I tell people I'm not black. And what happens to black people is not my reality. Well, they say, hey, well, Chief, well, wait till the police pull you over. Well, guess what? The police pull me over all the time. So how come I don't get into the same situations that black people get into? Because that's not my reality. You see, I do not succumb to fear. You dig? I am not being judged by the color of my skin because I'm not black. I'm not stupid. I know colors. And I know black is not a race. You feel me? So the things that happen to black people, it does not happen to me. Now, do I face some type of, what you call discrimination? Of course, everybody does. Because the corporation don't really care what color your skin is. All the corporation care about is what you could produce. So everyone faces some form of this of discrimination. I'm not naive, but I'm not going to blame my misfortunes on the color of my skin. I got a beautiful golden brown copper tone skin. So Black people reality is not my reality. Okay. So like I said, do not succumb to fear. You got to learn first, because you cannot create without learning what you want to create. So you have to learn first, then create. Then from your creation, you will grow. Number 4, if you want to be happy, of course, money can make you happy, but I'm going to rephrase that. If you want to be joyful, then guess what? Have no expectation of others. You see, men and women lie. Men and women will always, for the most part, they will always give you the short end of the stick. You feel me? And when you have high expectations of just expectations, period, of people, they will disappoint you. I promise you. I promise you. Even me, myself, as well grounded as I am, as well highly favored as I am, even me, myself, don't expect anything from me, because why? The expectations that you have for yourself, I may not be able to give it to you. And if I cannot give you the expectations that you want of yourself, then what does that mean? It means that Chief Kalinago will disappoint you at some point. So don't expect anything from anybody. Therefore, you will always be happy, meaning that nobody would be able to disappoint you. That's where disappointments come in, because we place too many expectations on people outside of ourselves. You did. And if you're really true to yourself and you only expect things from yourself, then when you don't meet up those expectations, even if you're disappointed, you'll be disappointed in yourself. So that should still make you happy, because nobody disappointed you but you. You feel me? So expect nothing from anyone. So therefore, expectations will always be met. All right? No one will disappoint you. Number 5, tell no one about all your plans. You feel me? You have to level up in private. Too many times we go around just telling everybody what we're doing, telling everybody, oh, well, I'm doing this, I'm leveling up, I'm getting into this, I'm getting into that. Well, let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, that is not a good trait to have. You feel me? Because we have to understand that there are always going to be people that's looking to see you fall. That is just natural. Why? Because there are beings that are naturally disagreeable beings. They came to be provocateurs. They came to kill, steal, and destroy. And I promise you, you have them in your circle right now. They will look at you in your face. They will smile with you. They will call you brother. They will call you sister. Their lips, their words are saying something, but guess what? Their internal thoughts or actions or motives are saying something different. Those people are fraudulent. So therefore, when you are leveling up, don't tell everybody about your plans. You feel me? Plan alone, create alone, grow alone. And when it become, they will see. Regardless of what the situation is, they're going to see the fruits of your labor anyway. So why go tell somebody, hey, you know what? I'm planting this garden. I'm putting some good seeds in the ground. Let me show you where the location is. You can't do that with everybody, because guess what? They're going to come. They will come. They will bring the weeds. Okay. They will make sure that it does not rain on your plants or your seeds for it to grow. That is just human nature, my brothers and sisters. And there's nothing you could do about that. Nothing whatsoever. I'm not saying be selfish. No. All I'm just saying, protect your investment, meaning that your plans, okay? Protect your plans. That's your investment. You feel me? Because you're investing in yourself. What is the purpose of a vest? When a police officer put in a vest, that vest is for protection. You feel me? So therefore, an investment, when you invest in yourself, you're creating protection for yourself. You feel me? So please do not tell everybody your plans. You feel me? Tell no one about your intricate plans. Level up in private. Build in private. Let them see the outcome. Let them see the tree when it produces fruits. Because they will they will definitely plot against you to destroy your plans. So level up in private. Number 6, you won't be young forever physically. I'm going to repeat that. You won't be young forever physically. So do what you have to do right now to make yourself happy. Period. You feel me? Okay, period. You won't be young forever physically. So do everything necessary to bring joy to your life every single day, because life is an ongoing process. You're not just going to get it all at once. There is steps to acquiring happiness and joy. You feel me? Even if you could instantly say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be joyful, but you have to grow. You have to master yourself in able to be joyful. regardless of what's going on around you. You did? So number 6, you won't be young forever. So do what it takes by any means necessary to make yourself joyful. Now, I'm not saying go out there and hurt people. That's not what I'm saying. When I say do anything necessary by any means necessary, all I'm just saying is don't let anything get in your way of preventing you from achieving the joy that you want for your life. Number 7, be mature enough to control your emotions. React less. Be more responsive and react less. You see, a lot of us, we tend to always react. Somebody say something, you're so easy to jump and be negative. Something happened in your life. Instead of taking the time to think about it, reflect, and respond to it, you want to react. But what you don't realize is that whenever something happens to you and you react, you're creating 2 of the same energy. And that's why it does not create balance. You feel me? So fall back sometimes and learn to respond opposed to react. So react less, but respond more. But it comes with maturity. Exactly. Clever or wisdom is a skill. All right. Clever is one thing, but wisdom is the most appropriate term. All right. Wisdom is a skill, and we all have the skill of wisdom, but most of us are not clever enough to tap into that wisdom. All right. So Maxwell, that's when I would use that word clever. Okay, but wisdom is actually the skill. All right. Learning to be clever is a skill as well, but by being clever, you're able to tap into that wisdom. So with that being said, be mature enough to control your emotions, react less, and respond more. Number 8, free yourself from society's, how would I put it? Mainstream society ideas. Free yourself of those, because society is clueless. Society does not have an idea what they want and what they're doing. Why? Because they're controlled by the governments. You feel me? So you don't have that society, and nobody could force you to be a part of the legal system, that society, the ideologies of lost people. Nobody could force you to do that, because you have free will. By right, no one is supposed to take our free will. Governments aren't supposed to take our free wills, but because the people are not educated, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the knowledge of self, then therefore, once again, governmental agencies control their mental. You feel me? So a lot of times you have to detach yourself from society, because society is clueless. They will give you advice that's a detriment to your spiritual growth, to you becoming the God. Hence, they have religions, they have churches on every corner. Do you think governments and churches want you to become the God that you are? No. So they have to put a vice on every corner, whether it's liquor or a church, because they have to keep you spiritually enslaved. The church was not meant to free you. The church was a trap house. Even during slavery, the church was a trap house. So how are you going to tell me a trap house that was the church in the slavery days, all of a sudden you're going to tell me in 2024, 2023, it's a place to free you from what? No, the church is not a place to free you. No, it's a place of entrapment, whether it's spiritually or physically. The church was a trap house because that's where the slave masters indoctrinated the people to enslave them spiritually. And when they became enslaved spiritually, then they became enslaved physically. So we have to let go of the societal ideologies so that we have to detach ourselves from them in order to free ourselves. You have to let go of these churches, let go of the 501c3 institutions, all right? Because they're all businesses and they work with the government. They tell you church and state is separate. No, it's not. They're actually in bed together, all right? Number 9, don't try to change anyone. I'm going to repeat that. Don't try to change anyone. However, change how you deal with them. If you have to deal with people, that's fine, but don't try to change them. When people show you who they are, make sure that you believe them, all right? And I'm using that word believe very lightly here because in the word believe, there is lie, all right? I just want to point that out. So don't try to change anybody. Just change how you deal with them. And I'll tell you how you could develop a skill. Sometimes you may be doing business, or you have a business partner, or you have friends. Now, every individual may not be the perfect friend. Everyone may not be the perfect business partner. However, you could learn to use your partners or your business partners, okay, in the capacity that they bring. You feel me? And yet still they will still give their best to the overall. Let me explain what I mean. Everybody's not perfect. In fact, no one is perfect. Okay, everyone is imperfect, perfect. If that makes sense. Well, it makes sense, but if you know what I'm talking about, right? Everybody's imperfect, but yet still they are perfect, right? So, therefore, if you are making an attempt to create some type of business or partnership with anybody, even a wife, a husband, whatever the case is, a girlfriend, right? That individual may not be perfect in the sense of perfection in regards to what you have in your mind. However, you may say, well, I'm going to try to change that person to make them perfect. Sometimes that person will not be able to change as far as that perfection that you perceive in your mind. But it does not mean that you cannot deal with the person to create the change that you need. You feel me? Exactly. Business is not personal. So learn to deal with these people based on who they are, opposed to trying to change them. They have to change themselves, because a lot of times when you try to change people, okay, they will resent you for that. Now, if someone reaches out to you, that's fine. You still cannot change them, but you could just give them advice. You could guide them. But they are the ones that have to make the change. All right. So I'm going to repeat that again. Do not try to change anybody. However, you could change the way you deal with them in simple terms. Number 10, be mindful of your circle of friends, because your friends aren't supposed to be jealous. Your friends aren't supposed to have any type of animosity towards you. You feel me? So be mindful of your friends. Pay attention to their actions. Pay attention to their energy. Anytime you see any form of jealousy, then leave these people alone. Deal with them from a certain distance. In other words, change the way you deal with them, which is definitely supports, number 9, what I just said. Change the way you deal with them. Anytime you have friends who are jealous of you, jealousy creates envy, and envy creates death. I'm going to repeat that. Jealousy creates envy, and envy creates death. So watch your circles of friends, or watch your circle of friends, because once again, your friends should not be jealous of you, because it's going to create envy, and envy is going to bring death. Number 11, get rich in life. You feel me? Because when you're rich, life becomes easier. whether it's with money or it's with joy. Like I told you before, okay? Like I told you before, money does not always equate to success. You have financial success and you have what I call spiritual success. And spiritual success entails joy, happiness, being favored, right? So therefore, get wealthy spiritually and physically, because once you are wealthy, life becomes easier. That is a fact. When you become wealthy, life becomes easier, even when you have money, because now you don't have to worry about the bills. People say, well, the more money you have, the more problems you have. That's not true, because money by itself does not create the problem. It's the individual behind the money that creates the problem. You see, they tell you these things so that you mentally, you'll tell yourself, no, I just want to be okay. I just want to get by. And that's the majority of people. That is their train of thought. That's how they think. Oh, I just want to get by. I just want to be comfortable. Well, let me ask you a question. If all you want to do and be is be comfortable, then what happens when something comes along and it takes you out of your comfort zone? Then guess what? You become poor. You become miserable. Because why? You just want it to be comfortable. Stop asking the universe to put you in the comfort zone, because now you are borderline. And when you are borderline, guess what happens? Anything that happens to throw you off course, then you tip over on the scale of being poor and broke. So you don't want to be average. You don't want to be comfortable. You want to be way above being comfortable. You want to be wealthy. You want to be stinking rich. Once again, if it's financially fine, there's nothing wrong in having wealth. Why do you think when we created, we told ourselves we are going to have dominion? In other words, everything on earth is yours. The wealth is yours. So why do you want to limit yourself to just being comfortable? Oh, I just want to get by. Oh, well, if I could pay my bills. You have to get away from that train of thought. Sky is not even your limit. You have no limit. Stop limiting yourselves. And the way to do that, you have to change your mindset. It all begins with your mind. The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the so-called end, even if there's no beginning and there's no end. But we are talking about manifestation. There's a beginning of manifestation. Okay? So get rich, whether it's up through personal growth and become joyful, or monetarily, okay? Become wealthy and stop being comfortable. Number 12, master your disciples. You have to be disciplined. And that's why the allegorical Jesus came to teach. You feel me? When he became a man and he started teaching, what happened? He went and he sought disciples. Well, he didn't just seek the disciples found him. Because what you have to realize is that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And the disciples were ready for the teacher, so they came. They made themselves known. But what a lot of people don't know is each and every one of us, we have 12 disciples within our own mind. They are actually your 12 faculties. And you are supposed to master your 12 disciples. Once you have mastered them, then you will become the 13th son or the 13th God. That's what 13 means. 13 means God. That's the number for God. That's why they want you to be afraid of 13. They don't want you to experience the flight and experience the 13th floor, because when you experience the 13th floor, something happens within your mind. All right. And you have a euphoric experience once you get to the 13th floor. So they skip that. You feel me? So keep that in mind. You have to master your 12 disciples. They are actually within you. So what I would suggest is learn the name that was associated, or the personage that was given to your 12 disciples, aka John, aka Simon, Peter. All those disciples actually dwell within you. So you have to call them out, bring them to life, birth them, because they are actually within you. You see, you don't realize, again, these things were not literal in a sense of historical figures. John, Peter, Paul, those people were not real people. Those disciples, not Paul, but the disciples, they were not real physically. Historically, they were not real. But they are real because they are in you. They are faculties that's within you. So you have to call them out, birth them. So in your meditation, you have to give the affirmation, I'm giving birth to John. I'm giving birth to Paul. I'm not Paul, but I'm giving birth to James. I'm giving birth to Judas. Each and every one of us have a Judas that's within us. And Judas is the most loyal disciple, because why? Judas will always be who he is going to be. He's always going to betray you. So therefore, he's the most loyal. So learn to master your 12 disciples. In that way, you'll have discipline. So when the adversary come and said, hey, listen, you know, they're going to take you on the mountain, and he's going to tell you, the adversary is going to tell you, and of course, the adversary is Satan. Satan is going to tell you, man, listen, look at this. I could give you the entire world. All you have to give me is your soul. Then you would say, get thou behind me, Satan. Why? Because I already have dominion. It's mine. It's already mine. So how can you give me something that's already mine? But you see, you don't know it's yours. You don't know you have dominion. You don't know that you are the gods. And the allegorical Jesus reiterated that in Psalms and in John. He said, ye are gods. Because why? You are the son and daughters of the Father. But I'm going to go further and expound on that. You are the sons and the daughters of the gods, meaning that the sons and daughters of mother and father, not just father, because without a mother, you could have no father. You feel me? So I'm putting the scripture back in its proper context. I'm teaching you that you are the gods, and you have to let go of all religions to be free. You have to let go of all the false gods, even the one in the Bible and the Quran. They're all demigods. They're all false gods, because you are the true God. They're not teaching you the truth. You feel me? Their symbols are the crescent moon. The crescent moon, that it's telling you that that's a lunar god. They're not solar gods. The sun is more powerful than the moon. The moon is the shadow of the sun. And the moon will not shine without the light of the sun. It's a reflection. That's how it gets its power. That's how it gets its light. So how can your God be the most powerful when it's getting its light from another god? So all these gods are lunar gods. But we have already left the lunar cycle. So why are you still serving and worshiping these lunar gods? Let them go. Step into your true power. You did. So you have to activate your disciples in order to be disciplined. Now check this out. The family that you create is more important than the family you came from. I'm going to repeat that. The family that you create is greater than the family that you came from. Why? Because we are supposed to evolve. It doesn't mean that our ancestors were not great. Yes, they were great. You feel me? But we are supposed to evolve and make our families, in fact, our lineage greater, because the word family means to be a slave. All right. That's what family means. A slave. You feel me? So with that being said, the lineage that you came from, or the lineage that you create, in other words, your genealogy, your posterity, okay, that you create, is supposed to be greater than the one that you came from. In other words, every generation is supposed to be greater than the next. But the system, they have our generations degrading. Opposed to generating, they have them degenerating. Look at our youngins today. They are gone, they are lost. Why? Because the ones who came before them, they were degenerating instead of evolving. And you cannot teach them anything. You feel me? So we have to start changing that. We have to make a mental paradigm shift and start teaching our children differently. Teach them how to be greater than us. You did. And I could even prove it to you again. What did the allegorical Jesus said? The allegorical Jesus said, listen, man, you could go on and do greater things than I am if you believe in me. What does it say? Believe in me. What is me? I, yourself. If you believe in yourself, you could do greater things than yourself. In fact, let me show you the verse. Because people think that when I talk sometimes, I just say things. But let me show you the verse right now. And I always like to go into the Bible because people People subscribe to the Bible as the ultimate truth. So I'm going to use your truth to show you the lies. You feel me? So I call it true lies. The Bible is a book of true lies. You did. Let me show it to you right now. That is John 14:12 to John 14 12 to 14. I'm gonna show it to you right now. So for all you religious people, all you believers, how come I could be greater than your Jesus? Ask yourself this question. How come your pastors don't teach you those things? Why don't your ministers show you these verses? Because why? They want you to worship an entity that you could be greater than. But I'm going to show you the proof. Let's read it. John 14:12 to 14. Jesus said, verily, very truly, I tell you. So in his own words, he's telling you the truth. Verily, truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing. So he said that if you believe in me, now who is me? Me is I. You see, it is all allegory. He's telling you about yourself. If you believe in yourself, then guess what you'll be able to do? And they will do even greater things than these, because I have gone back to my parents. Of course, the Bible was written from a patriarchal system, so it said father, but I'm going to say mother and father. So let's read this in its proper context. Jesus said, the allegorical Jesus said, very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me, in other words, who believes in yourself, in the I, will do the works that I have done, meaning that he has done, right? And they, meaning you, will do even greater things than these, because I have gone back to my mother and father. I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father and Mother may be glorified in the Son. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will give it to you, and it will be done. You feel me? But a lot of people don't know exactly what this verse means. First off, you have to know that you are the Christ. And it's only through the Christ, the Son will be fulfilled. Who is the Son? The Son is Jesus, meaning that the flesh aspect is the Son. S-O-N, the flesh aspect, the physical manifestation. But however, it takes the Christ to fulfill the works of the Son. You dig? To bring it into fruition. So let me ask you a question once again, you believers. How come I could do greater things than your Jesus Christ, but yet still your Jesus Christ is the one you think that's coming to save you? But yet the man is telling you, man, listen, you could do greater things than me. You dig? Explain that to me. You feel me? So people don't comprehend the allegory because your pastors are not teaching you the truth. They're not teaching you about your power. They're not teaching you that all this is symbolic to teach you about you. Your physical body is Jesus. Your lower self is Jesus, meaning that the one that was born in the manger among the animals, your lower self. And if you go back into Egypt, the Sphinx tells the same story. If you look at the Sphinx, you will see a human head with an animal body. The animal body represents the manger. It represents Jesus, the one that has to be crucified in order to transcend into the top of the Sphinx, which is the body, the head. You see what I'm saying? That becomes the Christ. It's the same story being told over and over and over again. But people are not being taught the truth. So yet still you're worshiping the lower self, which is Jesus, the physical man. That's why your prayers are falling on deaf ears. But he said, nah, if you believe in me, who is me? Me is I. The works of the man will lead you to the Christ. So once again, that's why you have two births of Jesus in the Bible. You have the anointed one, which is the Christ that was never crucified, because how can a Christ die? A Christ cannot die. No, the physical Jesus died, allegorically speaking. And he did not die for your sins. He died for his sins. But it wasn't even his will. Because what did he say? Father, it is not my will, but yours. It was the will of the Father. Who is the Father? Who is the Mother? The Father and the Mother is the higher self. It is the will of the Mother and Father that the lower self be crucified so that the Son could come back home as the Christ. Oh my goodness, Chief, are they ready for this? I'm not sure if y'all hearing me today. but I'm going to teach you how to be great. And all I could do is teach you. I'm not here to change you. I'm here to give you the information so you could change yourself. Because I'm not here to alter your free will. That's something that you have to do on your own. You dig? We got to let go of these churches, let go of the churches of the synagogue of Satan, each and every one of them, all the 501c3s. They belong to Satan. And who is Satan? The Lord God in your Bible. You see, a lot of you ain't ready for that truth. And that's why I'm taking my time and giving you all the videos to prove the things that I'm saying. Like I told you yesterday when I did the video, I ran into this young man. When I started breaking down to him, he said, oh, well, Chief, that's blasphemous. I say, let me tell you what's blasphemous. Blasphemous is saying that your God is good all the time, and all the time your God is good, but yet still when something bad happened to you, you said it's God's will. That's blasphemous because it's contradictory. Nothing that's good all the time and all the time is good could never do bad. You see, when you're ready to accept the truth and get away from the fear that they're teaching you, you will become the God that you're supposed to be. How can a dog have dogs but tell me that it's a cat? How can a horse have horses but tell me it's a donkey? How can lions have lions but yes, you tell me it's a rabbit? No, if a lion have lions, they're called lions. So if God have children, what are they called? They should be gods, but you're afraid to accept that you're God. Because religion got you scared, afraid of yourself, afraid to become what you are. You're already the God, you're just afraid to be the God. Let's proceed. So like I said, number 12, master your disciples. Number 11, the lineage that you create has to be greater than the lineage that you came from. Let's go to number 13. Never go broke trying to impress broke people. I'm going to repeat that. And not just financially, spiritually as well. Because let me tell you something, the more I pour into you, the emptier my cup become. And if I continue to, I'm not going to call it wasting time, but if I'm keep giving you the message and I keep giving you the truth, and you are not seeing or adhering to the truth, then at some point the truth will shut itself away from you. Because why? The universe don't want me to go broke spiritually, pouring all of this knowledge into you. You feel me? I'm going to repeat that. Number 14, never go broke trying to impress broke people. From a monetary standpoint, never do that, because broke people will get you broke. I'm going to repeat that. Broke people will get you broke because that's all they know. A lot of times, that's why people stay broke and broken financially, because they always say, oh, well, I'm broke. Guess what? You are speaking that into existence. Instead of saying, I am financially challenged at the moment, so now you are telling the universe, yes, you know what? I know I am financially challenged at the moment, but that's temporary, because when you say at the moment, it is temporary. Don't just say I am financially challenged and leave it that way. No, because you are saying that you're financially challenged indefinitely. You have to put a cut of time of you being financially challenged. So, hey, you know what? I am financially challenged today, but tomorrow that's going to change. You have to put those affirmations out there into the universe, my brothers and sisters. You have to. Well, you don't have to, but I would suggest you do. Okay, you don't have to do anything. So don't waste your time, man. Don't go broke trying to impress broke people. And when it comes from a spiritual perspective, don't force people to accept what you're teaching them to be true. Like what I'm giving you here, I don't think or believe it's the truth. I know it's the truth. And you see, when you know, the conviction of knowing is so powerful, it defeats all ideologies of belief. That's why I tell people I don't do belief systems. Don't ask me to believe anything. Give me the knowledge so I could walk the ledge. Because when you know, you're able to walk the ledge without tipping over. That's what knowledge is. walking the ledge with no fear because you know you're walking in truth. People will deplete your well because they always want. Always gimme, 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 gimme. They're gimmicks because all they want to do is asking. They're always asking. But they don't realize the one, ask king. You feel me? When you're always asking, who do you go? You go to the king and you ask. So the word is the truth, regardless whether it's the true lie or it's the true. The truth. You feel me? Because the word is always the truth. And the word is always the truth. And a lie can be truth sometimes. Because that's why I say when people show you who they are, whether they are deceptive or not, that's their truth. And that is truth. So not every truth is true. Because a lie could be the truth. That may go over some heads, but I'm going to repeat it again. Not every truth is true. But a lie also could be the truth, because if somebody is a liar, then that's their truth. And that is true. So be mindful of those things. Number 15, be intelligent enough to know that no one is going to get rich of a salary. I'm going to repeat that. Nobody could get rich of a salary. When you're trading time for money, you could never get rich. I'm going to repeat that. When you're trading time for money, you could never get rich. I'm not saying that you having a job is, no, I know you got to take care of your family, but don't think a job is going to get you rich. All right. That's why jobs are created. A job is to test your will, to see how much you could work and struggle, to see how much you could work, get your check and be broke the next week, to see how much you could struggle, get your check today, but you can't pay your bills tomorrow. That's what job is. That's what a job is. You see, there's no difference in the spelling. It's just the pronunciation. You dig? That's why the English language is double-edged sword. Give me 1 second, please. Let me drink a little water. Okay? So a salary, a job is not going to get you rich. Because if you were to get rich, guess what you would do? You would leave the job. So your bosses, they're going to make sure you never get rich. You never get wealthy. So they will give you enough to appease you. People talk, oh, well, I got a 50 cents raise. Congratulations. If your boss is paying you $20 an hour, he's making $500 an hour on you individually. I'm going to repeat that. If your boss is paying you $20 an hour, I promise you he's making $500 an hour on you individually. So if he have 10 workers, that's $500 times 10. That's $5,000 your boss is making an hour. But when you pay 10 workers $20 an hour, that's 10 times 20. That's $200 that he pays out an hour. But he makes $5,000 an hour. So he just made $4,800 profit on 10 people working every hour. But he pays them $20 an hour. Do the math. You see, numbers never lie. The universe is made up of numbers. Every letter has a number to it. And if you can't get the numbers, you'll be lost. You feel me? So know this to be true. You will never get wealthy off a salary. Okay? So those are the 15 points that I wanted to bring to y'all. Now I'm going to show you the etymology of a word here, which is very important. Let me show it to you real quick. Dominion. And then we're going to go into Genesis real quick. Well, I'll go into that after. after. I'll go into that. But let us look at the etymology of the word dominion, because people don't realize that they have dominion. When we created ourselves as the gods, when we manifest here on earth, the earth is our home. When we created ourselves here in this realm and we manifested here, we spoke it into existence. We said that we have dominion over everything that we create. Well, let's look at the etymology of the word dominion. It says what? Lordship. So who's the Lord? You are. Period. Okay, end of story. That's what dominion means, lordship. So when you lost your dominion, you lost being Lord. So therefore, you lost being the landlords. That's why they came with their false gods to kill, steal, and destroy. That's what the Lord God is. The Lord God in the Bible, that's what he is. That's what he came to do, to kill, steal, and destroy. Go read it for yourself. And he made you a tenant because you were a lord. So that's what dominion means. Lordship, sovereign or supreme authority, end of story, period. Now, when you continue, it says what? Dominion, rule, power, property, ownership, lord, master of a household or the land. What does it say? In law, what does it say? Power of control, right of uncontrolled possession, use, and disposal, territory or people subject to a specific government or control. Dominion. Now let us go to Genesis. Google. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1, King James Version. We're not going to go to the beginning. We're going to go into the part where the gods, the Elohim, where it said, let us, because we are the God. Us, that's who we are. Plural, the collective. Okay? I think it's Genesis chapter, after the home was created. Here we go, chapter 26. What does it say? And the gods said, and the gods, okay, this is plural. Don't let nobody fool you. It was us. Hence, it followed and it said us. And the gods said, the Elohim said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. So what did we do? We created a perfect man in the cosmos. And we wanted to make a reflection of this perfect man that we created here on earth. So we told ourselves, collectively, the council, we told ourselves, let us create this man in our own image and likeness, and let them, you see, again, plural. So therefore, man was not singular. You feel me? Let's give what? Let them have what? Dominion. I just showed you what dominion meant. Lordship over what? Everything in the sea, everything in the air, the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing upon the earth. We had dominion. Because why? We were the gods. And when we manifested here on earth, we became the lords, because Lord is a title. That's why you see here, it said God, gods, the Elohim. And in Genesis chapter 2, as soon as that was done, it was all good, it was all perfect. Then came the Lord God. In other words, that was another God. But he was a Lord God with a title. So you see where we have the dominion? We were sovereign when we manifested here on earth. We gave ourselves that sovereignty. And what did we say? So the Elohim created man. Man means them. Man is plural. In our image and likeness, in the image of us, the gods, we created him, because him, what we created, male and female, we created them. Again, plural, because those beings were androgynous beings. In other words, it was one body, and in that body was male and female energy before the separation of the sexes. That's when we were having we were reproducing via the process of what's called parthenogenesis. Okay, before the separation of the sexes, because we became more physical. We devolved more. We fell more into degeneration. So therefore, we lost the ability of man creating through the process of what's called parthenogenesis. So we started having sex physically. Okay? But before that, we spoke and we had our children. Our children came into being by speaking. And guess what? It will happen again. So the purpose of these governments is to control your mental so you won't able to do those things. All right? And then what we were supposed to do, and we're supposed to have dominion, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, have dominion again. And guess what? All of it was all good. And what we were supposed to eat, we were supposed to eat from every herb bearing seed, which was upon the face of the earth, each and every one of them. Every fruit that bears seed, that was our diet for meat. Our diet was not no flesh. It was only when the Lord, a different Lord, came in the second chapter. If you go down and you go to the next chapter, you see in verse 1, it says God. But let us go to chapter 2, and I'm going to show you when the Lord God came into play. Another entity came into play. So chapter 2 says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and the host of them. In other words, it was complete and it was all good. And on the seventh day, the gods, the Elohims, ended their work. That's what it's supposed to say, which they had made. And they rested on the seventh day. All their work, which they had made. And the gods, the Elohim, blessed. They favored the seventh day. And they sanctified it, because that in it they had rested from all their work, which the gods, the Elohim, created and made. All right, number 4. Guess what? These were the generations of the heavens, of the earth, when they were created in the day that, now you could see now another entity came in and said, the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. But it was already made. You feel me? And here comes another Lord, another landlord took over. And now he started creating things until he created a new man, a man that was supposed to till the ground, a new slave. You feel me? So when people read, they read without no understanding, because they have no idea what the book is talking about. So we have given up our power to this Lord God, this entity that came apart from the creation that was already created, where we had dominion. And he said, nah, listen, you have free will, but I'm going to give you an option to give up your free will. That was the King James Version. All right. But in any of the versions, it basically says the same thing. You did. They just have some of them different words. You feel me? So this Lord God came over and said, listen, man, I'm going to create this new man, this slave. He got to till the ground. He does not have dominion. That was the first government that was instituted. All right? That was the first government that was instituted, from which laws came from. Written laws, man-made laws, and not universal laws. You dig? So my brothers and sisters, know your power. Know who you are. Gain back your lordship. Gain back your sovereignty. Gain back your power. Is the only way we're going to make it out. Because these governments, trust me, they're not here to give you your sovereignty. They're not. The ones, at least the ones that's current right now. And there are people fighting to give you your sovereignty, but it's a spiritual war that will manifest in the flesh. So the more you start letting go of all these false gods, including your Lord God in the Bible, you will become sovereign, because you were not meant to be sovereign through him. You have to keep sacrificing your soul in order for him to do anything for you. That's why I tell people, when you pray, your prayer fall on deaf ears, because you're not making the sacrifices to the Lord God. He needs sacrifices. He need blood. He need cattle. He need sheep. He need goat. He need something in return. And please don't believe me. Go read the book with spiritual discernment. All right? So I want to thank y'all for being a part of this build. You know, something that will assist you in becoming a better you, help you grow to become who you truly are. I mean, you already are that individual. You are the God. Okay? Okay? The power is already you. You feel me? So no matter what you say the power is in, it's in you. You see, too many of us want to put the power in anything else. The power is in you. You feel me? That's the individual power. But the universal power is greater than the individual power. But what's the universal power? The universal power is us collectively in our pure and perfect state. So it is still you. So there's nothing outside of you. Too many of us, once again, even with people who claim to be woke, they still put the power in something else because of fear. So they live one form of religion, one form of indoctrination into another form of religion, indoctrination. Embrace it. You are the all. You are part of the all. The all is just individualized in you. And I've already given you this example over and over again. If the body of ocean of water is the all, I'm going to repeat that. If the body of ocean of water is the all, that is the ultimate, what you call the great spirit, and you take individual cups of water from the ocean, does it negate the fact that that water in the cup is still the ocean water? So how can you separate the ocean water, the cup water, the water in the cup from the ocean? And it's just so frustrating because people cannot see the logic and truth in truth. So why are you separating yourself from the damn ocean water, man? If the ocean water is God, what we call the all, and you take 10,000 cups of water from the ocean, how can you separate the ocean water, the cup water from the ocean water? The only thing that separates is the cup. But individually, it is still God in the cup. That's why you are not the cup. You are not the flesh. So woke people who call themselves woke, they are still frustrating because they are still teaching false idols. It's either it's ocean water or it's not. Don't pay attention to the cup. The cup is the illusion because once the water evaporates, it's going back into the ocean. But before it goes back into the ocean, it has to be purified. And that is our journey, my brothers and sisters. That is the journey. It is really that simple. There's no other, I can't find another simpler analogy to break it down to you. And that's what Jesus, the allegorical Jesus, was saying. My Father and I are one, but yet still my Father is greater than I am. Let me break it down to you using the analogy of the ocean. My Father and I are one. In other words, when I'm in the ocean, my Father and I, we're the same thing. We are that, you know, there's no difference in power. But yet still my Father is greater than I am, meaning that when I am in the cup, the ocean is greater than the water in the cup. Because why? The ocean in the water has more volume. It has more space. It has more power. Can you imagine taking the whole ocean and smashing the whole ocean against a building? What do you think is going to happen? It's going to tear that building down. But take that same ocean water in a cup and dash it against a building. What's going to happen? It's going to splash back in your face. So yes, the ocean is more powerful than the water in the cup. But the water in the cup is still the ocean water. But if you have enough faith, okay, in yourself, guess what? That ocean water in the cup could still destroy that building. You feel me? Or now, to answer your question, who led me to this path? Since at the age of 6, when my parents, they were heavy into the church, okay, Pentecostal to be correct, or so going to church at the age of 6, there was just something within my soul and spirit that just it wasn't right. And every time I ask a question, everybody would tell me, "Oh, well, that's what the Bible say. Don't question the Bible. Don't question God." And it just wasn't sitting right with my soul. So I became rebellious. I didn't want to go to church, but I was forced to go to church. So what I did was, when I go to church, I would I would go downstairs. Literally every half an hour, I would go downstairs, say I want to use the bathroom, and I would go, bother the girls downstairs. Because that's what we would do. We would make a plan. We would say, "Oh, well, we go into the bathroom," and we would go downstairs and play. Okay? Because at the age of 6, I thought something wasn't right with the church. At the age of 6, I got older, still being forced to go to church. At the age of about 13 or 14, approaching 15, I made up my mind that I would rather take the beating than go to church. So I would prepare myself for the beating than go to church. When I was old enough, graduated from high school, 17 and a half, I decided, well, you know what? I'm becoming a man. I saw what religion did. Both my parents were Christians at one time. My father found another faith, all right? And then when he found another faith, it started causing problems in the home. Now, my question was, well, if there's only one God, because y'all call that God different names, how is that y'all having problems because of that? If it's the same God. That's why names are very important. You feel me? And that caused tension in the home. And from that moment, I started doing research on religion. Come to find out, religion is responsible for the most killings on planet Earth. But yet still, people are serving God in all these religions. So it's either something is wrong with religion or something is wrong with the God that they serve. So that led me to keep pushing and digging and digging. And then I was led to a verse. I think I might have been about 25 or 26. The verse that says, "The kingdom of heaven is within," and that ye are gods. I heard that from somebody, and that stuck with me. And I just started, from that moment, I started seeking self. And when I found self, I found God. You feel me? And that's my journey in a nutshell. When I found myself, my true self, I found God, because I found my soul. You could never find God without finding your soul. Yes, it's scary. You know why it's scary? Because we were taught to live our life in fear. Never question God. Who is God for me not to question God? If I'm God, why not question myself? Because you see, you're only taught to be afraid of God because you don't know who you're God. You're supposed to question yourself all the time. That's why you talk to yourself. Should I do this? Should I do that? What should I do? Well, why did I do that? Why shouldn't I do that? You see, that's questioning God, because you are God. So it becomes scary because they taught you, they gave you an entity in a book, a fabricated entity, a made-up entity that carries an energy. You feel me? And they want you to be afraid of that energy. And yes, that energy is scary, because if you read the book properly, yes, that's a very scary entity. Because if all you want to do is kill, teach people how to rape, steal, and destroy, no, that's scary. But guess what? I'm not afraid of you, because I know you are not the greatest power that exists. And that's what differentiates me in knowing the truth and people who think they know the truth, the believers. I don't think this is the truth. I know it's the truth. You feel me? Because I have read, I have studied to show myself approved. And like I told you before, the Scottish Freemasons, they always sending me emails. They actually sent me another one 2 days ago. They want me to be a Freemason. I don't want to be a Freemason. You did. Because that means now I'm sacrificing the gift that my ancestors gave me to teach the people. That means I have to limit myself. I cannot talk free. I'm sovereign. I don't need you. I don't need your organization to become sovereign. I don't need your organization to be initiated in the presence of my ancestors. No, they already initiated me. So you cannot recruit me. 2 days ago, they sent me another email. They want me to join the Scottish Freemasons. How did they get my email? I didn't give it to them. I don't know these people, but they found me. You did. And hey, if you're a Freemason, that's cool. Good for you. Good for you. That's your path. That's not my path. You feel me? Yeah, nice, cool. Nice, cool. No need to be offended. I don't know you. You don't know me. You did what I'm saying? Well, honestly, Chief, I don't know what the difference is. I just know this, right? I don't have to get into any type of organization to ascend into my godhood. I know I'm God. So I don't need nobody to tell me that. You feel me? No, it doesn't mean that people cannot give me knowledge. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is I don't have to be a part of that organization per se to become who I know I already am. You feel me? So it's no disrespect to any of those groups. You feel me? I don't have to become any part of those groups to know who I am. You did. And that's all I'm saying. So no disrespect to anybody who is a part of the Freemason or whatever you're a part of. That's your path. That's cool. It's not my path. My path is to teach people how to free themselves and become the gods that they already are. That's it. You did. I know, and I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that they're good either. Because in everything there's good and bad. So I'm not judging them. I'm just saying that they keep sending me emails. You feel me? That's all I'm just saying. And they want me to be a part of their organization. And I just choose not to be. Not insinuating that they're good or they're bad. I don't know. I'm just not interested. You did? So that's where I'm at with it. You feel me? So when you read the book with understanding, then you will comprehend that you are the God that you've been looking for. When you read the book with understanding, you'll comprehend that your greatness or your witness lies within you. When you read this book and you truly comprehend, you'll comprehend and understand that whatever you speak become your reality. The power of life and death is in your tongue. You did. It's in you, my brothers and sisters. Okay? And that's why I told you, all right, you are the one who give life to God. Okay, you see, it's a symbiotic relationship. All right? You give God life and God give you life. But people don't realize that. They only asking of God and not giving the gods anything. So you have to realize that. You see, the gods are experiencing through you. So therefore, you give life to the gods. You feel me? Because you are the gods. So your higher self is experiencing itself through your lower self, which is the physical body. But the physical body doesn't always have to be the lower self because it is the temple of the Most High, which is you. So how do you elevate your temple? You elevate your temple by what you put in it, what you eat. You did. That's why you should not cast your pearls to swines. You did. And that's why I suggested, don't make an attempt to change the world. The world is just going to be fine. Change yourself. So don't focus on the world. Don't focus on the world. The world is an illusion. Even your physical body is an illusion. What's real is when you close your mouth and you close your eyes and you speak, and what you hear and what spoke and what heard is the real you. Okay? I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to repeat this again. Okay? Don't focus on the world changing. Focus on you changing yourself. And how do you find the true self? How do you find the I am? Let me explain this to you. Close your mouth, close your eyes, and speak. Whatever speak or whomever spoke, all right? That voice that you hear within you, the one that spoke without you opening up your mouth, and the one that heard what was spoken without you opening up your mouth is the true you. Now, once you have identified that true you, then you ask that true you to guide you to becoming the better you. Teach me how to be like you in the greatest you. That's what I did. That's what I did. And I was guided to the truth. Years ago, I would say about 15, 16, maybe even longer than that, I tapped into my higher self. And for years, which I still do today, all right, I asked my higher self to teach me how to be righteous like you. You have to use that key word, righteous. You know why? Because the higher self could also be unrighteous. You see, people have to realize that they have to be specific. If you are just general, the universe will assume what you mean. So in the words of Zig Ziglar, stop being a wandering generality and be a meaningful specific. So when you ask the universe for things, you have to be specific. Don't just ask for a car, but ask for a car with wheels. Ask for a car that works perfectly, because the universe will give you a car. It might just be missing brakes, because the universe got a sense of humor. Don't just ask the universe for a man. The universe will give you a man that will whoop your ass. Don't just ask the universe for a woman. The universe will give you a woman that will portion your food. You dig? You have to be specific, man. Create the blueprint in your mind and speak it into existence. So when you're seeking your higher self, don't just ask, oh, well, I want to know about my higher self. Teach me. No. Ask your higher self to teach you about your righteous higher self. That's how you grow in righteousness. The way you practice is the way you're going to play. So I taught myself how to practice in righteousness. That's why I tell people I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal, I don't defraud people. I am truly living my Godhood. I am truly living Christ. I am the Christ. It is up to you to find your Christ. I cannot find it for you, but I could teach you how to find it. And that's all I'm here to do. I'm just a teacher, just like how the allegorical Jesus the Christ was the teacher. That's it. Teach you how to direct your will. And that's why it was called testament. Let's go look at the etymology of testament. See, like I said, I'm here to teach. Etymology of testament. Let's go look into this. Give me 1 second. Where do we have it? Here we go. Etymology of testament. Let me give it to you right now. Etymology of testament. Here we go. Testament. I'm going to teach y'all the truth, like I always do. It is up to you. Okay? I can't tell you what to do with the information, but you have to find your truth. Testament. Last will, disposing of property. A last will, publication of a will. Make a will, be a witness, witness. Third person standing by. Three, on the notion of third person. Okay? Used in Bible to the two divisions of the Bible. All right, testament. Novum testamentum. What does it say? And the kind deifike, Latin, testament, in this case was what? A confusion of two meanings of Greek, which meant both covenant, dispensation, and will, testament, and was used in the former sense in the account of the Last Supper, a testimony. Okay, so when we are speaking, but subsequently was interpreted as Christ's last will. So when you're talking about the New Testament, that was the will, the last will of Jesus the Christ. But it wasn't his will of the physical body, but the will of the Father, which the Father is the Spirit. All right. But when we say Father, I'm talking about mother, father. So let me go show you the verse. All right. So now that you see what testament means, it was the last will of the Christ. Okay. That's why we all must have a testament, a will. Without a will, all your possessions will be challenged. You feel me? Jesus could not be challenged because he had his will. You did, before he ascended into the Christ. Now, let us go into the Bible here real quick. All right, let me see what it says. Let's go into Luke, into Luke 22, verse 4. Luke 22, verse 44. 42, not 44, but anyway, I'll get it. Give me 1 second. Luke 22, I think it's 42, I think. Give me 1 second. 42. All right. Let's go into Luke 22, 42. What does it say? What does it say here? It says, Father, and I'm going to say mother, father. All right. So that's Jesus talking to his parents. But because it was written from a patriarchal society or patriarchal ideologies, they left out the mother. So I always like to put it in perspective. So Jesus said, Mother, Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done. So Jesus did not die for anyone's sins, but his, the will of the mother and the father. Because why? Jesus said, my Father and I are one. So therefore he was dying for the will of the mother and the father. His own will, not yours. You have to die for your own sins. You have to create your own will and testament. You feel me? So when you know the truth and you are being taught the truth, you will not be misled. So to all you believers, show me where does it say Jesus died for you and he died on his own free will. Show it to me, please, because it says in Luke 22:44, he says, what? Father, if you are willing, take the cup from me. Jesus is saying, yo, take this burden from me, man. That's not what I want to do. It is not my will. I did not sign up for this. But you know what? It's yours. If it's your will, it will be done. It was the will of the mother, father. So Jesus was reluctant in dying, but he had to do it. Because why? The father and mother sent him as the imperfect man, but perfect man, to show you the path that you have to go through life, pick up your cross and be crucified before you become the Christ. It's part of the experience. It's part of the journey. And that's why it's called testament. All right? So, like I tell people, I don't do belief systems. I know the universal supreme being, it is still us collectively. It's not a matter of belief. I know. Well, let me give you another example of what I mean. Let's go back to the ocean. See, I like to keep things simple. And that's why I'm doing greater things than Jesus, because I'm not speaking in parables. I'm explaining to you what the parables meant. Let me give you an example. Let's go back to the ocean. If the ocean is the supreme being, right? And we take 10,000 individual cups of the supreme being, which is the ocean water, and we put it in cups, right? The individual cups are individual cups from the ocean. The water in the cup is the same water in the ocean. So it is still the supreme being in the cup. It is just individualized. Now, should the individual cup of water tell itself, I don't believe, or I don't think, or I don't know that the ocean water exists? Well, yes and no. And I'll tell you why. Yes, because the ocean water in the cup is conscious that it came from the ocean water. And no, the ocean water in the cup is not conscious that it came from the ocean water. How does that relate to you? Let me explain. If you don't know that you are God, that came from the gods, then that's a problem. You feel me? That's the consciousness, knowing. You feel me? But if you keep separating yourself, isolating yourself from the ocean water, then you will never go back to the ocean water, because you don't think you are the ocean water. So you'll get lost in the process. That's why the key is to get to know your soul. And here's another thing. Every soul has a guide. One for the minimum or one for the least. Every soul has a guide. Some of them have two, some of them have three. And those that are highly favored, they have many of them. I have many guides. Why? Because we are stepping into a journey, territories that were uncharted. So therefore, you need a guide to guide you through. And that's what our guardian angels are supposed to be. We're not supposed to have parents, but guardians. A parent is a concept from a totalitarian perspective, meaning that a parent was supposed to convert you, but that's not what you were supposed to have. There was not supposed to be a conversion, because you came fully loaded, but they gave you a parent to convert you, to take you away from your path. So your parents was no longer your guardians, because they themselves, they did not have guardians. They had parents. You dig? So now you have to depend on your spiritual guides to guide you through, but the righteous ones. There's no such thing as death. Death doesn't exist. Like I know a lot of you are new listeners, but you have to go listen to my past videos. Death is an illusion. Death is not real. Okay, death is not real. I just gave you the example. Let's go back to the ocean. My brothers and sisters, it's real simple. but you make it complicated. Let's go back to the ocean. Take 10,000 cups of water and put it in the sun. What's going to happen? Eventually, it's going to evaporate. During the process of evaporation, there's a process called condensation. During condensation, the water that's evaporated, it goes through a cycle and it comes back as rain. Where does the ocean water go? The rain goes, it goes back into the ocean. It's the same thing with us, my brothers and sisters. The ocean water does not die. It evaporates. The spirit, the soul evaporates, and it has to be cleansed. And before it goes back into the ocean, it has to be purified. So before we go back into the universal source or the universal pool of souls, there is a certain dimension that is set apart for those souls to go into before they are purified. It is called the dimension of purification. All right? That we have to go into before we go back to the universal pure soul. Okay? And guess what? There's a dimension of impure souls. And there's a dimension of what's called purgatory souls, meaning that you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're in the middle of the road where you're not going to the pure souls, you're not going to the bad souls, the dimension of the bad souls. You see, I am giving you the analogy because that's what's given to me to teach you. As I go along, I make these things up. You feel me? But I have to give it to you in ways that you could comprehend, that you could perceive. You did. So there are dimensions of bad souls. You have dimensions of the good souls. And you have the dimension of the purgatory souls, but yet still, they're still in the overall all soul dimension. In other words, the absolute realm of souls, where there is no beginning, no end, no limit to that. But then it is there are compartments. So you have the compartment of the bad souls that cannot interact with the good souls, because the good cannot be corrupted by the bad. Therefore, the good could never do bad. And then you have the good souls that cannot interact with the bad souls. Then you have the purgatory dimension where 1 foot is in the good, 1 foot is in the bad. The good side is in the good side, the bad side is in the bad side, but still you have to make a decision finally of where you want to gravitate to. Your guides come from you. They are just different versions of yourself. We are all reflections of each other, characterized in different avatars. Okay? But we are just one big characteristic, fractionalized into smaller characteristics. You feel me? So we are all characteristics of the all, of the supreme. So once again, we are all reflections of each other. Deem it good, bad, or indifferent. But one thing we have to realize is this: the all good could never do anything bad. So when you're speaking of your God and talking about God is good all the time and all the time God is good, but yet still in the next breath say, well, hey, you know what? I broke my leg. It was God's will. That's blasphemous. So you are the one that's actually doing the blasphemy and not me, because you don't know the truth. You did. You see, me personally, I know that the supreme all that I subscribe to, the good aspect of the supreme all, could never do bad. Once again, I don't do belief systems. And I just explained to you about the ocean water. You're still asking me, do I believe in a supreme? When I just told you, gave you the example of the supreme of the ocean water. How can you not believe in the ocean when the cups from the ocean came from the ocean? I just gave you the example. The ocean is the supreme, and the individual cups of water is you and I. And when the water evaporates from the cup, it goes back into the ocean. I mean, if you cannot understand or comprehend this analogy, then I cannot help you. The universe, we created the universe. Once again, if you don't know you are God, then I cannot help you. I'm going to give you another example. When a man and a woman meet, what do they do? Or what are they supposed to do? That's the most appropriate question. Aren't they supposed to create a home, then have children? Most people are doing it backwards. They have children, then try to create a home. That's backward thinking. So when a man meets a woman or a woman meets a man, they're supposed to create the universe. The universe is synonymous on a macro level. The universe is synonymous with the home, the house. And then once you have done that, then you procreate, be fruitful and multiply. Go read the Bible with discernment, the way it's supposed to be read. What did we do? The first thing we created was the earth, the universe. Exactly. Look at the birds. Do you see birds going around just humping each other without a nest? The nest is the universe. It's just on a macro level. My brothers and sisters, everything is there in nature. You just have to open up your eyes to see the truth. So who are the gods? The birds are the gods in their world because they create the universe, the nest, and then they create children in their likeness and image. Let me ask you a question. How did the bird create the nest? Stop trying to comprehend things of the spirit with your physical mind. You will never get it. You're going to drive yourself crazy. It just is. You cannot explain what is. Let me ask you a question. How did God make the physical a reality? Answer that question. You see, too many times we overthink things opposed to just accepting what it is. You feel me? The only way to comprehend God is to become God. You did. How do you want to be a master at martial arts, but you have never been to a class? You have never trained in martial arts. So to become God, you have to train in the things of God to become the God. How did the higher power make how did the higher power make the bird? Because it just made the bird. It's for the experience. Once again, you are asking things that the physical mind cannot perceive. That's why so many people are afraid to say that they are God, because they cannot comprehend, well, what do you mean that I'm God? Well, who created the universe? We did. How did we do it? We spoke it into existence. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh. I just told you how it became. Let there be, and it was. And God said, who is God? We are. And we said, let there be light, and there was light. And we said, let there be trees, and there was trees. You have to stop separating yourself from the higher power. You are the higher power. You feel me? You just don't recognize the higher power because you are in a limited capacity in the flesh, which is an illusion. You feel me? Only your flesh is limited. Have you ever went to bed and see yourself flying? That is the real you. You are not limited in your subconscious state of being. But when you wake up, oh, I had a dream. No. It's only a dream to the physical being. But to the real you, it wasn't a dream. It was real. You was flying for real. So the entity that's flying in your dreams, that is God. The superhero in your dreams, that is God. But then when you rise, guess what? The conscious mind, the five senses, is what limits you. Because now it puts fear in you. So for me, I stopped trying to analyze, well, how did I create the universe? I know how I created it. I spoke it into existence. Because why? It was already in pre-thought. It was already in pre-thought. There's nothing new. Nothing is new. Everything already is. What's new is the thought. Tapping into the thought and being conscious of the thought. That's what's new. But nothing is new. Everything already is. Everything is already, it already exists. In fact, it's a word that I created. It's called insist. Everything is in everything exists. However, for it to manifest, it has to be, it has to become exist, what's called exist. In other words, out of you. Everything that's out of you is a reflection of what's within you. It existed before it became existed, if that makes sense. So everything's already in thought. All you have to do is speak it. It's already there. Thought doesn't have a beginning. Thought doesn't have an end. Thought is in what we call universal mind. Universal mind doesn't have a beginning. It doesn't have an end. It is absolute space. Space doesn't have a beginning. Space doesn't have an end. Nobody created space. Space has always been. Space is equivalent to universal mind. And universal mind is on a macro level is equivalent to your individual mind. But you limit yourself with your consciousness. So it's just a matter of knowing. That's it. And stop believing. Just know that you are God. Just know that I created this. I am one of the co-creators of this. And stop thinking of yourself as the flesh. Because the moment you start thinking of your flesh, then you're going to limit your thinking. And fear is going to kick in. Now you have to dive back into religion to subscribe to the gods that they gave you. Because now you're limiting yourself because, oh, it's impossible that I was one of the creators of the universe. Well, it's impossible I was one of this and that. No. And that's why it says in the book, the physical mind will not comprehend things of the spiritual realm because the spiritual mind is limited. It's limited. Or the consciousness within the spiritual mind is limited. But once you start thinking of yourself without limit, once you start thinking of yourself in the absolute, once you start thinking of yourself as being immortal because you are, now you're not looking at yourself, okay? You're not looking at yourself as the physical being. Belief is good, but it's not powerful because in the word belief, there's lies. Okay, and yes, lies could be powerful, but what's more powerful than anything is knowledge, to know. There's a difference between knowing and believing. And yes, belief is powerful, but most beliefs are built on lies. It's in the word itself. It's in the word itself. Let me see something real quick. So instead of just saying, I know I'm God, people, they live their life based on beliefs. I don't do that. No, not at all. I don't do that. Let me see something. Let me just show y'all something real quick. All right. Let me show you what belief is for those of you who don't know. You know, belief, once again, I never said there's anything wrong with belief. I said in the word belief, there is lie. Okay? And anything that you know, it cannot be a belief. It cannot be a belief. All right? Belief is religion based. That's right, Chief. I was just about to show you the etymology of belief. Okay? And you see how great minds think alike? I literally just pull up the etymology of belief, and Chief said what belief, where it stemmed from. And you're absolutely correct. Let us go. Show you what belief means. All right? Let us go into that. Belief. What is the foundation of belief? Confidence, reposed in a person or thing, faith in religion. That's what belief is. Okay? That's what belief is. Faith in religion. We have to get rid of all religions, and we have to get rid of beliefs, and we have to step into knowing. Now, let me show you the difference between belief and knowing. If you step outside and it's raining, are you going to tell somebody, I believe it's raining, or are you going to tell somebody, I know it's raining? But if you're in the house and the windows are closed and you have no access to seeing outside, and you hear the sound or something that may appear of the sound of rain, what would you tell somebody? I believe it's raining. Does that mean you know? No. Because when you open up the windows, it could have been a truck passing by that sound like rain. Guess what? Your belief was a lie. So you see the difference between knowing and believing? When you know, you know. Belief is an assumption of knowing. So you see what belief means. Now let us look at know, which is synonymous with knowledge. All right, let me see. Now you see what know is? Strong verb, past participle. Perceive a thing to be identical with another, able to distinguish generally what? Perceive or understand, I would say comprehend, as a fact or truth. You see, knowledge deals with facts and truth. Belief does not stand on the principles of fact and truth. That's why religion literally got people lost, because the entire premise of their faith is built on belief, not knowing to be true or factual. There's a difference. To know something is true or factual. I just gave you an example. If I go outside and it's raining, I am seeing it. Hey, my brothers and sisters, I know it's raining. If I'm in an enclosed house and I hear a sound that sounds like the rain, I'm not going to say I know it's raining. I'm going to say I believe it's raining. That's the difference. You feel me? So yes, belief has its own good, but it is not as powerful as knowing, knowledge. You feel me? And that is the difference. So we have to stop. Once again, man, you see, we are always making excuses for the shortcomings in life. Accept it for what it is. Why do we want to make belief a good thing, a powerful thing, when it's not? Okay? This is what knowledge means. Acknowledgement of a superior, honor, worship for the first element, to know. You feel me? That's what knowledge is. Knowledge is superior to belief. Let's look at wisdom. All these words, high frequency words. Wisdom. Let's look at wisdom. Wisdom, knowledge. You see, it still deals with knowledge. learning, experience, because wisdom is knowledge. It never said belief. You feel me? That's knowledge. That's wisdom. Let's look at intelligence. I'm giving you high frequency words. Intelligence. Here we go. Does it say the highest faculty of the mind? Capacity of comprehending general truths, going back to knowledge, the faculty of understanding, comprehension. Okay? That is intelligence, the highest faculty of the mind. But now they have the lowest faculty of the mind, which is AI, artificial intelligence, which is of intelligence, trying to control you. Man, I could go on, man, but I think I made my point. You feel me? And my brothers and sisters, like I said before, you know everything. You're just not aware of everything because it's already in you. If God is supposed to be all-knowing, then therefore you are supposed to be all-knowing. But does it mean that God is aware of everything? No. Because if God was aware of everything, even in the Bible, God would not be doing these things to come see if these people, if the people was faithful or if this would be. You're supposed to know already. You see, all that stuff is already in the book. God is all-knowing. Yes, we are all-knowing, but we are not all aware of the knowing. You feel me? And life does not have a time. Life is forever. Life doesn't have a time. Life is eternal. So once again, you are speaking from a limited capacity. You see, people are so programmed, it's not even funny. And that programming, the indoctrination is just so automatic. We don't think of the things we say. We just say it because we are programmed. Life doesn't have an end to it. Life is eternal. Life is absolute. Life is immortal. And when you truly comprehend this, you will start losing all fear. You will. The government will have to relinquish and give you back your sovereignty because you know that life is eternal. No matter what they do, they can't kill you. Can you imagine if everybody knew that to be true, which it is? But they have to keep pushing the fear. They have to keep pushing the intimidation. Why do you think they have schools? They have schools to put you in uniform so they could keep you in check. And then you're grown, you get a job, and they still keep you in check because they give you a check. It is all part of the plan to keep you enslaved. A true God is supposed to live in abundance, have dominion. You dig? Man, I'm telling you, man, the truth is right in your faces. All you have to do is use your mind, man. Use your mind, use your intelligence, use your wisdom. Okay? Use it. Feel me? Let me show you what school means. The etymology of the word school. What does it say? Here we are. School, institution for instructions. You feel me? The question remains, what are they instructing you of? What does it say? Body of followers. You see what I'm saying? So when you're in school, they teach you how to be a follower. Okay? That's where they teach the indoctrination. That's what school means. All right? That's what school means. I'm telling people, man, this thing is it's here for people to see. And those who have eyes will see, and those who have ears will hear. All right? It's really that simple, man. All right? It's really that simple. Anyway, let me get out of here, man. I think I gave y'all enough for today. I'm good. Let me get out of here. This video wasn't even supposed to be that long, but you know how I do. You know how I do, man. Let me give you one more before we get out of here. Education. Education. Let me show you what it is. Here we are. Education. What does it say? Education. Child rearing. Also the training of animals. Why would they compare education to child rearing? The training of animals. Right? Because that's what education is. You're considered an animal and you are being trained. Okay, you are being trained in school, meaning that to be indoctrinated, to be controlled, to be taught, to be a follower. You see how it all adds up and it all makes sense? All right then. Okay. You said, how did you feel when you awakened? Well, guess what, lineage? Guess what? I was never awakened because I was never asleep. You feel me? I told you since at the age of 6, I was that way. I just couldn't articulate it because I was not aware of the knowledge that I had that was already in me. So I was never asleep. So I did not have to awake myself. You feel me? You see, when I go lay down, I don't wake up because I'm not dead. I rise like the sun. And when I go lay down, I set like the sun. So I'm the sunset and I'm the sunrise. See, I'm mindful of the words that I speak. People who are dead, they are the ones that need awakening, not me. I was never dead. Never dead. That's why they want you to wake. And then when you wake, they want you to moan. Morning, morning. Good morning. Well, who died? Well, you did because you just woke up because you were dead. You feel me? And I showed y'all this before, but I'm going to show it to you again. Your tribe is not your family. Because, your tribe is literally is anybody that you're equally yoked with. And of course, you have your spiritual tribe and your physical tribe. But your lineage, your physical lineage is your tribe. And also your spiritual lineage is your tribe. All right? Now, let me show you what family means. That's why I don't use the word family. And even if your bloodline, yes, your bloodline is not necessarily always your spiritual family. I mean, your spiritual lineage. The most important thing is your spiritual lineage and not your bloodline physical lineage. Yes, it's important, but the most important is your spiritual lineage. All right? Because those are your soul connections. This is what family means. Family means what? Servants of household. Servants, family, domestic, collectively, the servants in a household. In other words, members of an estate. What is called a family is what? Property. What family is? The household, including relatives and servants. You feel me? That's why when I come on here, I don't call you family. I call you lineage. You feel me? You see, you're the one enslaving yourself, man. Slavery is a choice because you refuse to learn the word. And if in the beginning was the word and the word became flesh and the word was with God and the word became God, that means you don't know God because you don't know the word. You did? Now let me show you why I use lineage opposed to family. Lineage opposed to family. Family is a slave, a household of slaves. This is what lineage means: a line of descent, an ancestor. Okay? A spiritual thread, that umbilical cord. That's how you determine your lineage. See the difference between lineage and family? Like I told y'all before, man, I'm here to teach you how to build, become the better you. I'm here to teach you how to become the God that you are. But it starts with the words, because why? The power of life and death is in the tongue. You did. You feel me? So you have two tribes. You have your bloodline tribe and you have your spiritual tribe. Not everybody that's your bloodline tribe is your spiritual tribe. Okay? Because your bloodline tribe you have no control over, but they don't have to be equally yoked. But your spiritual tribe, it has to be equally yoked. Okay? And we have to go back to the concept of village. They took away the village and they gave you secret societies. That's what villages were. So I want to take you back to nature. You dig? Village, that's what it means. Community. Community means the ability to commune within a unit. They took away community and they gave you neighborhoods, hoods. So we have to go back to the concept of village. And that's why they took away village and they created secret societies to keep you down. While the same secret societies, they push indoctrination. And only those in that secret society get to have dominion and have life in abundance. But I choose not to be a part of that, because that means I am only focused on that secret group. No, I'm here to give life to the village, the community, and not no secret society. You feel me? So once we comprehend those things, and I'm teaching you all that because once I start doing nation building again, I want to make sure you have the tools of understanding, of overstanding. Because it's only people with like minds that I want in our nation. People who are builders. Okay? People who are not living in fear. People that are ready to build back the villages. That's what our nation is going to be about. And it ain't going to be a secret. Okay? Any society with secrets is a secret society. I mean, you cannot separate the two. Any society with secrets is a secret society. Whether the secrets is to themselves or not, it is still a secret society. And there's nothing wrong, like I said, with secret societies. I never said that. But my goal is about the people on a whole. All right? On a whole. To teach about how to become our best selves, how to become the Christ, because we are the Christ. I already broke down to you the first coming of the Christ, what it meant, the birth of the Christ. I explained that to you already. And I already explained to you the second coming of the Christ, what it meant. So I'm not going to go into that again. So once you're able to harness your power, harness your greatness, you feel me? Once you're able to do that, then you're able to gain back your sovereignty. That's what it's about. Because in the beginning, we were sovereign, and we allowed institutions and religions and their gods and their lords to take away our sovereignty. So now we're dealing with the repercussions of that. You feel me? But before you join any community, any nation, come into the nation as a whole, in your wholesome state, or in the process of becoming whole. Because if you come in your damaged capacity, then you are going to create some type of chaos. See, too many people, they want to be part of something whole, but they themselves, they're not whole. It's like getting into relationships, right? Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. You have two broken people coming into a relationship. They're not 100% each. They're 50%. So you have two 50%ers that are damaged going into a relationship. They are 50% damage, 50% damage going into a relationship, thinking that they're creating 100%. No, you're only creating 100% damage. I'm going to repeat that. All right? That's why it's important to become 100% before you get into a relationship. And people don't realize that. They're so emotional. They think they have to jump from relationship to relationship to relationship without becoming whole. But let me give you another analogy and break that down to you. If you're 50% whole, so therefore you are 50% damaged, right? And you get it, you get a wife or husband that's 50% whole, therefore they're 50% damaged. You come together. Now, what have you? You're literally 50% damaged, and you could be 100% whole with you and the person coming together, but you're still 100% damaged, because they're 100% damaged. They're 50% damage and you're 50% damage. That's 100% damage. So even if you bring your 50% whole and they're 50% whole, yes, that's 100% whole. But what makes it null and void is the 50% damage and the 50% damage. You feel me? So now you're just trying to get by. So that is not a good situation to get into. So my brothers and sisters, what I would suggest is you become whole, 100% whole, or at least 80% whole, before you jump into a relationship, and get to know the person and make sure they are at least 100 to 80 or more % whole. Because when you're 50-50 damage, you're having children, guess what? You're creating children that are even less, that's going to be more damaged than you are. You feel me? So you see the importance of becoming whole. Now, can you imagine being 100% whole and your partner is 100% whole? You put that together, you got a whole 200%. So now when you have your children will be 100% whole. But too many of you are in your emotional state, and all you focus on is just jumping into relationships without healing yourself, thinking that you're doing the right thing, you're finding the answer. No. Hurt people, damage people. You feel me? And that's facts. Facts of life. It's okay to be alone. Being alone doesn't mean that you're lonely. Heal yourself. Build yourself. Take the walk alone. So when you go to that next individual, you are literally coming in better than you were. You have to detox yourself from all these sexual relationships that you had, because now you have attached so many demons, other demons to yourself, because you did not take the time to get to know these other people. So now you have spiritual demons. I call them STDs, spiritual transmitted diseases, bringing into other relationships. And you wonder why it's not working out. You wonder why you can't find. And then you blame everything else on everybody and not taking the time to look at yourself. No, man. You got to take time to heal. You got to take time to purge yourself. Sometimes you have to take a whole 7 years to purge yourself. You feel me? Sometimes. All right. Or sometimes 7 days, sometimes 21 days, sometimes for multiples of sevens. But you have to know yourself well enough to know when you are healed, and you can't fool yourself. You feel me? So with that being said, enjoy the rest of your continuation. I love y'all for real, for real. All right. And that's why I do what I do. I wish you nothing but what you deserve in life. And I'm saying that intentionally. Okay. People, we are so far-fetched in terms of far away from the truth of the knowledge that, yes, it's okay to wish people good, but you wishing people good, what good does it do when the goodness that people get is based on the seeds that they plant? You did? So when I tell people, when I speak certain ways, people find it strange. All right? I always tell people, I wish you the best in what you deserve. Or I just wish you what you deserve. So totally, basically what I'm saying is, you're going to get what you reap, what you sow. I saw a post. All right? I saw a post on Facebook where a gentleman came. He was an amputee, right? Amputee. And there's this single show where people come on to look for mates, or they look for boyfriends or girlfriends, whatever the case is. And he was an amputee, and he came on. Now, he had a great personality, yes, and he was in his, I think, early 30s. And everybody said, oh, well, I'm going to pray you find a girlfriend. I'm going to pray you find a girlfriend. My thing is, don't you think this man have been praying all his life for a girlfriend? Why didn't God give him a girlfriend? What do you think? Why do you think your prayers is going to make sure he get a girlfriend? So I tell people, don't pray on me and don't pray for me, man. Keep that, man. You feel me? Because your praying doesn't do anything for anybody. Because if it was, don't you think that they praying for themselves would have already given it to them? So if God did not give it to them when they were praying, if God did not give it to them when their family is praying, what makes you think God is going to give it to them when you are a stranger praying for them? Once again, people are just so brainwashed and indoctrinated. You feel me? So your praying is not going to give him a girlfriend? No. If he could not get it on his own, or through the prayers of his family or his lineage, you did? All I'm just saying is this, all right? You get out of life what you deserve, period. And no God or no Satan is doing anything to you. It is your actions that manifest the good or the evil. It is really that simple. And I'll leave you on that note. You are God and you are the devil. It's in you. You determine which one you want to give life to. It is really that simple. You have the hero, you have the villain. They're both in you. And it's the one you gravitate to, the one you give the most energy, is the one that's going to win. So you could become the God or you could become the Satan. But stop making the excuses that religion is giving you to blame everything on an entity that's outside of you, but yet still you're the one that's doing the action. That's called hypocrisy. Stop being hypocrites, because that's what religion creates. A bunch of hypocrites. People who don't want to take responsibility for their actions, so they want to blame it on the devil. They want to blame it on God. Oh, well, it's God's will. Really? But you're the one who did it. But yet still it was God's will, right? You're the one who was driving down the street being reckless, get into an accident. Oh, well, it was God's will. No. Somebody run into you, even if you wasn't being careless, but somebody run into your car, broke your leg. Oh, it was God's will. How is it God's will that broke your leg? No. It was because of something that you did in the past. Now you're dealing with the karma of that. Take the responsibility, man. Point blank. Be responsible. And that's what responsibility means. The ability to respond to your own actions. I'm out.